let's talk about your spiritual awakening that you had in December. I'm really curious to hear about what happened.
I don't even know where to start.
Well, what do you think?
So
What do you think led up to you having the experience that you had, and then maybe talk about the experience itself, and then what you learned from it?
yeah, I think there were things that brought it on, and some people told me that the way it works is I must have been a little bit willing, or so otherwise I couldn't. So I reflected on it, and I think there maybe there is a way that there was a crack for God to get in or whatever. Um, it was brought on by other stuff overall too, I guess. Like it was, I feel like the channel was all clogged up, and I don't know the technical word for it, I'll say effed up, right? It was all whatever, and somehow God was able to unclog it. um to, my this awakening was to do with forgiveness, and I was not able to. I've tried to. I was conflicted over the years. I could, but I. Long story short, I couldn't understand what I call the mystery and miracle of forgiveness. And I'm glad that we're doing this interview in a way, because I was actually planning on some point making like a slideshow thing. I'm not as tech savvy as you are, but I was going to do it like a slideshow called or make a little video or something presentation about the mystery and the miracle of forgiveness explained for vindictive people. Because for me, it was really being like under a spell, or it was like just a whole different. And again, like we said before, I'm not just saying that to pass the buck. I have to take ownership for the stuff I did, and I have to own, like that's the only way recovery works. I have to be responsible for what I did and go and make those amends, or else it won't work any other way. But it really was I had a parasite up here, or I was under a spell, or I couldn't get it. I was in a religious community where they preached about forgiveness every single day. I've been going to meetings for a long time, and the forgiveness theme comes up all the time. And when it came to me to share on, I said, "Oh yeah, forgiveness, that's a great idea." Like I couldn't get it. I honestly couldn't get it. And today I do. I feel like so. That's the short story. Is I came to believe and understand the mystery and miracle of forgiveness. The long story of that is I'll sound like someone who maybe should be in a nut house, but at least it's positive. I believe that somehow, some way, God removed my second personality, or He removed that part of me, or that side of me, or whatever. So it was brought about, I guess, because I experienced forgiveness from other people. So before this, so first of all, I was a vindictive person. There was some conflict there. It was like, I really wanted to help people, take a lot of guys to detox, be a good member of the 12-step journey, but it doesn't really jive, right? It's sort of like but I couldn't see it. I thought I could manage both, right? I could compartmentalize Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It's like, I'll do this, but at the same time, I have the right to punish and reject these people. And it is vindictive, but the word I like to use even better is spiteful, because spite covers everything. Spite is the punishing and rejecting of people, believing retaliation will get me anywhere, the out of control bursts of anger, gossiping, targeted insults, shame attacks on people. Spite's a really serious thing. It's like I was reading up on it. People who are a dark narcissist, there's three traits. I forget what the other two are, but the third trait that makes you a dark narcissist is being spiteful. Like it's a really serious thing, and it leads up to eventually wanting to murder people, or in my opinion, major world problems like war and stuff like that. Like spite is it's a serious deal, And so anyway, so I was full of spite. I was a spiteful person. I believed in it. I believed I had the right to revenge, and that revenge could actually lead anywhere and do anything. And so that's what I would do. It was like, I'll be nice to everyone, but if someone f's with me, they're really gonna get it. They're gonna feel it. I'll never talk to them again. If they try to shake my hand, I won't shake it. I won't answer them if they talk to me. And I remember saying stuff to people, stay the f away from me, or you don't deserve to, or I don't want to see your face, and you don't deserve to hear my voice, etc., etc. Like all just this attitude, this dark spirit of vindictiveness. I call it spite, of believing in revenge, and that I have the right to it based on what someone did. And I couldn't understand. I didn't understand how forgiveness works, and that. until I experience forgiveness from other people. And I'll be very careful. Like, I don't want to implicate other people and say who they are, so going back to last April, I experienced someone was very forgiving and understanding with me in a way that kind of shocked me. If the shoe was on the other foot at that time, like if the person had done to me what I did to them, I at that time I would have said, well, then F you, I'm going to block you. I'll never talk to you again. You're garbage to me, kind of thing. Right. But this person didn't do that to me. It was sort of like, okay, well, that this sucks that this has happened, but like the person was merciful and understanding and forgiving, and so that kind of was going on in the back of my head for a time. And also a little bit of time went on up to last November. I rejected someone else. Like, they went to try and greet me, and I wouldn't shake their hand. I just looked at them and walked away, because I believe that I had the right to do that, right? And maybe we'll come back to this. One of the points is too with vindictiveness, with spitefulness, is I'll ask anyone out there who is vindictive: are you actually able to just punish and reject one person? Because my experience was I couldn't. Like, for me, evil, in this case, unforgiveness, malice, spite, it can't be contained. It can't be compartmentalized. Evil is like a fire. So I can try to like, I'm just going to punish one person. But as I go on, as the year goes on, I'll be holding 6 grudges, and then I'll be holding 20 grudges, right? It's like, oh no, that's their friend, so they got to go. And that guy's defending what they did, so he's got to go. It becomes like, it takes a life of itself. Like, wherever I go, into the new job, the new place, the new relationship, those shadows will follow me around. And so that's what I came to. For maybe other people are wired differently, but for me, I either forgive them all or I forgive none of them. It's either all or none. There's like, if I want to hold a grudge against one person, within a year, it'll be back to being at war with 40 people. That's been my experience. And I noticed that with other people who are kind of vindictive too, and I would ask them, are you actually able to just punish one person, or is it a pattern that seems to be following you around? And because that was my experience. So anyway, November came, I rejected another person. And I think maybe that's where the crack, or one of them was, God came in through, because I had some self-doubt about it. I was thinking, I had that self-justified anger of, well, no, they did this. They deserve to be shunned and stuff. But I was some self-doubt going on, like, this is like yet another person being shunned, like another person on the list. And I was starting, like, if you're at war with 30 people, could it have something to do with you? Like, who's the common denominator here, right? And so anyway, so that happened in November, and then early December, I experienced forgiveness and unforgiveness within the same 24 hours. So I made this really stupid mistake towards someone. I went to them I owned up to what I did. I felt terrible about what I did. And, I didn't realize how stupid what I did was at the time. Like, I was sincerely apologetic, and the person forgave me. They just let it slide. They even had, which is what I try to do today. They were almost like anxious to forgive. Like, apparently the word forgive, the word like for in the word forgive is like forearm, like the first part of your arm, like giving first, like to have that attitude. So that this person had the attitude of like almost like making excuses, like I'm not happy with what you did, but I could see where you're coming from. It was late at night. We all do stupid things, blah 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 blah. Like that open, merciful spirit, and that actually works. I noticed that it went somewhere. Like, this is a key thing: is it's uncomfortable at first because I feel ashamed or embarrassed about what I did or whatever. But then a few days goes by and it's healed up. And me and this other person were great. We've talked yesterday or something. And like they forgave. Maybe the way they were raised was they were taught to believe in forgiveness or whatever. But when you do forgive, it actually works. It actually goes somewhere. And then so later that day, after experiencing forgiveness, I experienced unforgiveness from someone and saw how it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Like, all it does is you go into that purgatory state and stay there forever, where it's like, okay, we're not talking to each other again forever now, and then you just stay there forever. right? Until there's forgiveness, or maybe there never will, or whatever. So I finally got it. That was enough to sort of like jar my mind and spirit, and whatever. And I realized that, like, I remember I was in therapy a few months ago, or 6 months ago or something, and I was talking to the person, my counselor, like, oh, I understand if like if I'm tired or irritable sometimes here and there, that's fine. I can live with that. The other person deserves to have me not talk to them forever. And like, I just couldn't get it. Like I said before, the parasite or being under a spell or whatever. But I finally realized in December, it's like, no, no, no. It's not, you're just tired sometimes from, this is mapping the whole course of your entire life. Like you're being a vindictive person is destroying your life. Like it's not just a small problem. It's termites. It's affecting your whole way of seeing, and you're like, your whole life is just being destroyed, and it does not work. That's the point I want to bring home today. If I could only pick one point, is it's not just about forgiveness being wrong. It's not just about unforgiveness being wrong and cruel and mean and stuff. It does not work, and that's guaranteed. Just like 2 + 2 is 4, or the sun's coming up tomorrow. There's no example of unforgiveness working in the history of the world, and I invite anyone to tell me if they think there is one. Because like I looked into it, God took me on a journey through space and time, basically, and I finally get it now. It doesn't work. It doesn't.
So
I invite anyone to.
Yeah. So when you realized that, was that a moment that you had, or was a gradual understanding that came to you over time?
I had a vision. Everything clicked within 4 days. The first day was experiencing forgiveness from someone and unforgiveness from someone else, and realizing how one actually works and one just doesn't. And then over the next number of days, I remember in the mornings before work, before going to the gym, before going to work and stuff, I was just like crying, and on the drive to the gym the next day, I felt like physically different. I was like, I don't want to say it was a scene from Star Trek, but it was like God. I believe, I know I sound maybe kind of crazy. At least it's a positive crazy. But somehow God was scraping up all that spite, all that malice out of me, all that self-justified darkness, and God just took it out. Like I've lost the desire to hold a grudge. I've lost the desire to punish or reject anybody. I don't believe it anymore. I know 110% it doesn't work or do anything. And I today I'm glad to be. I believe in the light. I believe in following forgiveness. I finally got it, but it took about 4 days for all of it to click. All the lessons of forgiveness.
And how has that changed how you feel?
Oh, I feel 10 times. Like today is February 7. I feel about 10 times better today than I did December 1, 22. And see, forgiveness is sort of an on the ground thing, and because it involves other people, and you got to put it into practice. And there's a leap of faith in it when you forgive. Like, is it gonna? But then it does work, as I've seen, and it does go somewhere. But for me, I was sort of, maybe as I grew up, or my personality, I was always in my head, like more intellectual, and forgiveness is an on the ground piece, because it involves, and it's emotional. Like you got to go out but if you do forgive, you'll see it work. I started noticing the difference within about 2 days of forgiveness, because I started putting it into practice, running into people that I had been treating as invisible for like 4 years or more. People that I was sort of colder to, I went out of my way to be kinder to, and yeah, like I noticed, it's like, oh wow, this actually works. Like I feel there's even like unsafe people that I believe I have to walk around them, not to punish them, but for my own safety, right? Like I don't want sugar in my gas tank. So even people like that, I can still wave, hey, how you doing, or whatever, and sort of quietly, like not to make a scene, but quietly disappear, or go out of the building or whatever. Living this way actually works, and I noticed that within like 2 days that it works so much better. And my old way of doing things, it doesn't amount to anything. You just stay stuck. You go into that purgatory state, and you stay there forever until you don't.